For those who have been on my group coaching sessions, they'll be having a wee chuckle to themselves because Matt's talking about journaling again. I do bring it up quite a lot and people do tease me about it. But I genuinely think it's one of the most useful well-being tools you can get. Now, what is journaling? Well, it can be a whole host of things to a whole host of different people. Yes, it can be writing your thoughts into a diary. It's a wee bit more than just a dear diary kind of thing. It's not the sort of thing where we might have done when we were younger, but it can be that stream of consciousness, that stream of trying to get your thoughts onto the page, because that can be quite cathartic. It helps clear what we're thinking about, which can give us clarity and then maybe move on. It can give us focus. And the way that it does that is because we can't write as fast as our brains can think. And when the brain gets a problem and it starts to take off on that problem, that can spiral and we can end up with all sorts of stresses and strains and anxiety, and it can lead to all sorts. So, journaling in that way, basic journaling of just getting our thoughts onto a piece of paper, can be a really, really valuable thing to do. But the journaling industry is so much bigger than that now. You have so many books. Just about everybody has some kind of journaling book out. I should probably do one myself. I like journals that much. But I would be inclined to think, here's just a blank notebook, because that's the kind of journal that I like. But saying that, a lot of these journals, they have different questions each day. And for some people who are looking at a blank page, they can't really start journaling that way. There's nothing wrong in that. It's just they're not used to doing that. For that kind of person, or for someone who enjoys some kind of cue to start from, then these pre-printed journals can be really, really useful. What I would say to watch out for is I've seen some that might just have the same questions each day. What are you grateful for, as an example? But you'll end up saying the same things every day. If it's the same question, after a few days, you'll be saying the same answer. Whereas there's some, and somebody went and I was at a retreat recently and someone gave me a journal. I haven't used it yet, but I might because I quite like this style. And in that journal, it asked a slightly different question each day for the entire year. And I thought that's a great way of doing it. And if you can find a journal, if you're going to look for a pre-printed journal, then look for that one that gives you different questions, a different theme, a different way of looking at things each day. You're more likely to get more out of that and you're more likely to keep doing that then. They can all look as great as you like and have fancy covers and what have you, but look at what's inside and see if it's something that actually resonates with you, something that you think you can be effectively inspired to use. Personally, I quite like a lined blank page on a notebook. I used to joke that the best journal I knew was one that cost £6.99 out the local supermarket. It is nice to have a book that feels good and a pen as well, so that you feel as if you're doing something, that you're not just making notes. What it allows is that because your brain works so much faster than you can write, you get that focus, as I went and said, and you can put things down. You can do drawings, and there's a whole host of different ways. And this is why I like the blank page. There's a whole host of different ways that you can use that. You can use it with diagrams. You can put mind maps into it. Every day can be a different use for it. You don't need to have the one style of journal to go through it, especially if it's that blank page. You can keep a wheel of life there. You can keep streams, whatever it is. You use that journal the way that really helps you. Now, I've used several different kinds of that. In work, I have often combined a to-do list with a journal, and some people say you shouldn't do that. But at the end of the day, what works for you? For me, that was a case of going, okay, here is the schedule that I've got for today. What am I going to prioritize? And I would only put one or two, three things maximum that were priorities to me. And I would actually say I'm a big one with words quite often. I would actually say prioritize rather than priorities, because it was more about trying to get them done, but not giving myself overwhelm at, oh, I haven't managed to get everything done. So that's why it was just one of those wee things that I said, prioritize. And that was there. But underneath that, I would then have what's the problems of the day, which is a more traditional kind of journaling technique. So you had your schedule at one side, prioritize at the other, and underneath that would be the notes of what could get in my way today. And that would help me at the beginning of the day sort things out. And quite often at the end of the day, I would do the next day's schedule and prioritize, and then fill in the rest as I went along during the day. So for me, that was a way of a sort of hybrid schedule to do and journal that I used working, especially when I was working in IT. And that helped me a great deal. Nowadays, it's not so much that. Nowadays, it's more about how am I getting on? What are the goals I've got? What are the goals have I set? Particularly when it's my own business now. I'm working for myself. And one of the things that I'm doing quite a lot of with journaling now is reflective journaling, loosely based on as a model called the Gibbs reflective model. It's loosely based on that. So basically, the important part about that is it takes it a step beyond just here's what I'm thinking. When you do a reflective journal, it's more about writing down what the problem is, giving a good description of what's actually happening, then trying to include all the things that could influence that, whether that be people, finance, the environment, whatever it is. Try to include all that in. Then have some kind of evaluation of that so that you've got an idea of, okay, so those people are wanting me to do such and such, but I don't have time to do that, or I do have time to do that, or that's not really going to affect what I'm going to do. And at the end of that, once you've done that evaluation, you can then write a conclusion. Oh, this is what's causing it. This is what the actual obstacle is. To get over that obstacle, such and such would have to be done. And then the nice bit, because lots of journaling can end up with, I know what needs to be done. The nice bit is the action. So, how do I actually do it? How do I actually, whether it be time, money, effort, whatever, how do I actually do it? What's the action steps to get beyond this? And so you've got that whole process and you're using the journal to get through that process. And I really like that. And as you can see, even from the things that I've described, there are so many different kinds of journaling. Is it any wonder that I really believe that it is such a powerful tool for well-being? And just as a wee thought, research has shown that the classic gratitude journal, which is write 3 things of gratitude each day, it can actually help reduce the effects of stress and depression and so on. And that's actually been proved. So journaling does work. It really is a fantastic thing. That can be difficult for some people, and one of the things that people forget is in that kind of gratitude journaling, it should only be done for a few weeks. It's not the sort of thing you do forever. And some people I know also have issues with the word gratitude. So we quite often, if that is the case, then using the word win. What 3 wins do you have? That's a gentler way of doing that. And that one can go on a bit longer as well. But whatever way it is, whether you're actually getting a bit of focus over something, getting a way to find out how you can move forward, or just recording the good things that have happened, the positives, because again, that's something that's really useful as well. When things are looking rubbish, when things are looking dark, you can look back and go, this is how I've handled things. These are the things that have succeeded, and I can show that I have been able to do different things. And it might even be one of the things that's getting to you just now. You can look back and go, well, I handled it that way. And that sort of looking back and even reflection again might give you that impetus or clue or help or hint or whatever to actually move forward. That's just a few of my thoughts on journaling. I'm sure you can see that I'm really quite passionate about journaling. Hope you get something out of it. If you get any questions or you want to share your different ways of doing journals or using journals, please stick it into the comments. I'd love to see, because it would give me ideas as well. And I love that kind of thing. Anyway, thanks very much. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot. Bye.